was a great deal of frustration the other night. How keen is everybody to get to Bromley and get that opportunity to put it right? I guess it's a quick turnaround. Do you have to sort of maximise the opportunities you get with the players and the time you've got together?
We did. We had a good session this morning, so they've all come in, bubbly. So, we were talking about it the other night, about the psychological damage, if you like, but put that to bed. So, we've got the 6 games left that we've got. The next challenge is Bromley. We weren't happy with the first half performance especially. And then I think we were good in terms of the first 20 minutes of the second half. But we've gone over it this morning, and then we've had a really good training session. So we've moved on from that now.
That psychological stuff, you've got vast experience on the training pitch. The coaching stuff, I'm sure, is second nature to you. How different is it dealing with all the elements of players, with everything that goes on in their lives, with their heads as well as their bodies?
It's everything. So you actually you look at every individually different. You'd have to, because they all are different people and characters and what have you. So you see little signs maybe, and then you act upon it accordingly. So if someone's down, you ask them why. But there was none of that this morning. There's 1 or 2 coming in, and straight away it's like they're looking forward to the challenge. They want to put the wrongs right.
Do you find that if an individual feels they've not done themselves justice, they're kind of the guys who lead the charge to try and put it right at the next time of opportunity?
Yeah, I mean, there's different characters, what I said. You've got the senior ones who look after the younger ones as well, but some of the younger ones are stepping up to the plate as well. They care about the performances, they care about the club. So, there's going to be a few sitting here this afternoon and going through clips, because they want to do that, they want to improve, they want to learn. And that's a good thing going forward for the club and for themselves.
When you've had a run like you had defensively that comes to an end in that game, is there a temptation to say it's a one-off, it's a blip? And how important is it that you do look at it with all that detail and don't just go, we had a bad day at the office?
No, you have to look at it in the detail, but, if you leave 2 or 3 players out for whatever reasons, they are sickness, looking after people, whatever it is, or injury and stuff, then, the lads who are coming in have got to, take pride in the shirt and the performance and everything else that they do with it. But, I just think personally, you look at, that wasn't us, and I said that the other night, it wasn't us in the first half especially. We don't perform like that, we haven't performed like that. We've had, I think it's 3 clean sheets in 4 or something like that, 1 defeat in 5. So you look at the positives and you tell the lads that, and you try and get back to that. And that's what we have to do, get back to it.
Does it become habit both ways? When you're doing good things, when you're keeping those clean sheets, scoring goals, winning games, whatever it may be, that becomes a habit. Can it become a habit the other way if you're having lapses, making mistakes?
Well, we had that, didn't we, early on the season? So we had that, and then we looked at it, we analysed everything, we reflected on everything, and we got better at it. And the proof was that was in the results. So we need to do that again. It was a reset. We haven't been like that for a while in terms of performance. It hurt a little bit more because it was a Lancashire derby. I said it didn't even reflect the derby in the first half, so we weren't happy with that. The players knew that. As I said, we've reflected on this morning. It's not going to be a habit, and we'll move on.
Does it feel like every time you get a sizable cushion to the bottom 2, it suddenly is depleted again? It just feels like week to week that table changes hugely in that gap.
Well, it does, but you've got to give credit to the other teams, haven't you? The other team that you're playing against that had to take points off you, and the teams below you. But you can only do what and affect what you can, and influence what you can, and that's on us as players, that's on us as staff, that's on us as a club. So we'll do our best now going forward with Bromley, and that's the next challenge.
What do you think that sense of jeopardy, that sense of feeling a bit closer to it, maybe like you could be sucked into it, what does that do for players and staff? Does it focus the mind? Does it put pressure on?
I think you get a stronger focus. I think we had an opportunity that we missed on Tuesday to get away from it. But as I said, it's we can't look at what other clubs are doing. We've got to take care of our own business, and that is the focus. And you can't start worrying about what's going to go on behind you. You've got to start looking forwards and just keep looking up, and that's the challenge for us.
You're in control of your own destiny, of course. I'm sure that'll be a message between you and the players at various points before all the remaining games. Is it important that you are on the front foot in the game, trying to make something happen? Do you have to be proactive? Do you see what I mean?
No, yeah, I think so. I mean, we tried to do that the other night for one reason or another, and we just didn't. And players and we look for excuses. There's no excuses. So they've had a trip to I think it was MK Dons. They play Fleetwood. And they've travelled away and they've got a positive result, so it helps them with their preparation, recovery and everything else going forward. We've had a tough game against Bradford, who were going top of the league. Second, strong side, automatic promotion, and the effort and everything else that we put in. And then obviously, you're losing a couple of players or 3 players before your selection, before you play Fleetwood. And then on top of that, you lose one of your main defenders within the first 5 or 10 minutes or so.
Yeah, what is the early prognosis with Devon Matthews?
Yeah, it was just an impact. So, we'll look at it again later on this afternoon. But at the minute, he's okay. Yeah, he's all right.
And as I understand it, Donald Love was unwell, so hopefully that's only very short.
So that's another one yet. So it's another one that we'll just monitor.
And just on Keneally, you've kind of referred to managing his minutes, and we've seen him taken off at half time and 60 minutes. Is it just a 3 games a week thing that's too difficult for him at his age, at his stage of his career?
Exactly, because that's what you want, and you don't want to. You could push him and get him to play, and I'm sure he'd want to play because he's a captain, he's a leader, but he's a leader off the field as well. And he helps massively in the dressing room and the players around him. So if you push him, then you could lose him for the rest of the season, and we don't want that because he has a massive influence on everyone.
Just on this weekend, then, and on Bromley, as you say, your fate is in your own hands. It's about what you do. Is it the case that you go there, just try and win that game, put three more points on the board? That's
it. That's every game, no, Dan. That's what you have to do in every game. And it's the old one that I always say all the time, is that if you're not going to win it, don't lose it. So that's it. So we're going to Bromley. We know the challenge with Bromley. We know the size of them in terms of physicality. We know what they bring. They've had a good season, really strong season for the first season in the league. So it's credit to them. I think they've had a draw midweek against Newport, away at Newport, so they've done the travelling there and back. I think they lost the last home game against Salford, 3-2. So it'll be a big challenge and one that we're looking forward to.
How do you reflect on the reverse fixture when you were here?
Well, that was just a non-event, wasn't it? It was pathetic, to be honest. It was stormed harder to start off with, and then the goals that we conceded as we were going through that mode. It was just, I was annoyed with everything about that day. The goals that went in were poor, but we seen them as a team. They seen us for the first time, so we're looking forward to going there now.
Does that stay with you? Was that something that immediately came to mind when you look at the fixture and go, we're going to play them again? Is there a sense of we want to try and put that right?
Yeah, well, there always is when you've had a negative result against someone, so you want to put it right. As I said, it was the first meeting I've had with them as a club, Accrington. So I think we go there. As I said before, we know what they're about. We know the size of the task, the challenge, whatever it is, whatever you want to say, and we're looking forward to it.
How do you manage the sort of logistics of it, the distance you've got to travel? There won't be too many that are new grounds that you've not been to before, for example, but obviously it is a long way away. How do you make it as comfortable as possible for the players, give them the best preparation possible, because the amount of time spent travelling is not ideal?
It's not ideal, but it's like going to Gillingham, so we'll try and follow the same path as when we went to Gillingham, and we got a positive result there, so hopefully that'll be the same thing. So it's the same for every club. Salford done it the other week, and they've travelled and they've come away with a positive result, so we look after the players, they get looked after really well, and hopefully we can get a positive result from it.
Does it help them to have a lot of time together? I know there's a lot of talk when we speak to players about how much they enjoy being around each other, how great it is in the changing room. Yeah,
well, it is a good dressing room. I mean, you can see, well, you haven't seen it this morning on the training ground, but you can see they love each other's company. So, it's only a good thing, I think, especially being together as a team and, affecting each other, seeing what they do and having a laugh and a joke and whatever they do, playing cards, whatever they do on the bus. So I think it's only a good thing. It's healthy.